What have you been playing, dude?
Well, I've still been plugging around with Child of Light.
Mm.
I haven't been playing it as much as I've wanted to. However, I did buy Portal 2
Ooh.
for PC, which is like really not like me at all.
Yeah.
But I did, and I've wanted to play that game personally for a long time and with you. So it just kind of made sense to get it. It was $9.99. And I'm not a big PC gamer for a number of reasons, generally because I'm always terrified that I won't be able to run the game. And this one, since it came out in 2011 and my iMac was built in 2011, I thought there's no chance that this is not going to work. So luckily enough, it does run, but I did spend hours sitting here trying to calibrate my PS3 controller, my PS4 controller, just trying to get a controller to work with the game, and I was so close. But there was one glitch where when you aim the camera up, the portal gun just starts auto-firing, and apparently it's a very common issue. And I was just so upset about it because I was like, I did so much to get to this point. I even bought this app for $5 called, let me tell you what it is, a Joystick Mapper. And apparently it allows you to literally remap the controls for a game to whatever controller you use.
Okay.
So decent reviews, and I thought, this is going to be the answer. And it wasn't. It was just a complicated mess. I kind of regretted buying it, but, it was only $5. And ultimately, I ended up getting an update that actually allowed for gamepad control, and I thought that was going to fix it. Still didn't. And after all these hours went by, I was like, you know what? I think it's just going to have to be mouse and keyboard, which I kind of wanted to avoid because if folks know my setup, I don't have like a mechanical keyboard. I don't have a mouse. I have a trackpad, and I have like a really sleek, low travel time keyboard, so it's not really meant for gaming like that.
Sure.
But I messed around with it for a while, and I was like, you know what? I think I can actually make this work. And then I think it was on a walk. Lauren was like, you know what, why don't you just use your work mouse? And I was like, I guess I probably could do that. So honestly, I didn't even think about it because that's so separate from like just my whole setup.
Yeah.
And I thought that because it was like a Windows mouse or something, it wasn't going to work. And it's not even a Windows mouse. It's just like an Amazon Essentials mouse or whatever, Amazon Basics, some shit.
Right.
And so it's a mini mouse too. It's not even like a full-size mouse. And it's got one of those little tiny like USB dongles or adapters that you just plug right in. So I plugged it in last night. It worked. And it actually didn't work at first. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like I couldn't move the camera around. I was like, why can I not just get this game to work the way I want it? And I just restarted the game. And once I loaded it up again, it worked perfectly. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've played about probably like maybe an hour of the game, and I do like where it's going. I think it's very interesting and different, and I really don't know much about Portal or Portal 2, but I know that it's regarded as an excellent game, especially for co-op. So
you've never played the original, is that correct?
No, sir.
Do you have a copy of the Orange Box for PlayStation 3?
I do not.
Huh.
And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that box being quite special.
I mean, it's certainly not a requirement for you to play the first game to get the full enjoyment out of the second one. But there are some jokes and things that happen along the way that do play off of previous experiences with Portal 1. So if you have an opportunity to get your hands on the first game, I can't imagine it's on Steam for like any more than like $5. Right?
Sure.
It's worth playing. It's absolutely worth playing. In fact, I'll look at my Steam library. I may have an extra copy of it that I can gift you. I don't know that I do. But if I do, it's yours. Because it's worth checking out, and it's a reasonably short game, all things considered. Portal 2 I think is a little bit more expansive. And I think it's kind of just, I think you'll get more fulfillment out of the second one if you play the first one, if that makes sense.
Okay. So it's essentially kind of like a staple in the sequel.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the cake is a lie meme right?
I have, yes.
Everybody knows about that. That got its start in the first game, and it really is this whole thing that kind of spans a large chunk of the game. They reference it in the second game, if I recall, but not to the same degree.
Okay.
So, but the second game actually adds more layers than the first one did too. So you're going to have some different voices in the mix. I'm not sure who you're talking to right now, if you're talking to Gladys or Wheatley.
Not sure.
I don't remember. Are you talking with a woman robot or a man robot?
Currently a male robot.
Okay, so that's Wheatley. That's voiced by Stephen Merchant. He is an absolutely brilliant British comedian and is just wonderful and charming in this game. Eventually, you'll encounter J.K. Simmons playing the role of...
I love that dude.
Yeah, so the voice cast on this game is top-notch, and the humor is right up there with it. This is a very cheeky game, and you're gonna love it. Like, I'm super excited for you to be playing it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue playing on my own. I probably will, because I am actually kind of intrigued to keep going. But it was so weird actually loading up Steam again, because not much has really changed. There's always a fucking update.
Oh, yeah.
And big picture mode still looks kind of the same. Hearing the sound of big picture mode really just kind of made me feel very sort of just in a familiar place. And it's really just because I actually used Steam quite a bit some time ago when I was playing more games on my boot camp side of Windows. Yeah. And I played Dark Souls 2 with Tom on Steam, and I think we used Skype to chat. So I have history with Steam. And I think I was expecting more sweeping changes, but they weren't really there. But yeah, that's okay.
Steam has essentially not changed since 2004.
I mean, it doesn't seem that way.
It really hasn't. And maybe that's a good thing. You know, they have a layout that kind of works, and it is somewhat customizable, so you can change it to your liking. Actually, you know, it's interesting that we're talking about Steam, because I just heard that RetroArch is going to be coming out on Steam for free. And RetroArch is the front end for a number of emulators, which I know that you've had some issues kind of setting up in the past. They try to take a lot of the guesswork out of getting the emulation process working. So when that launches and comes out of beta, like, I want to sit down with that and see if it's possible to get that working on your computer, because that's going to open up a whole new world of possibilities for us.
Sure.
You know, and it's a kind of thing where, like, you drag and drop the ROM that you want to play into a folder, RetroArch sees it, and then it's like, okay, let's go. And that's it. There's no, you know, configuring dip switches and making sure you have the right ROM set to go with this and that, and all the issues that you had with MAME don't exist.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because I did have quite a few issues, and honestly, you know, in retrospect, it's really just because I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, I mean, yes and no. A lot of that stuff is pretty complex if you go down the wrong rabbit hole. You know, like, you'll, depending on, like, so I know that our friend Damien sent you, like, the bare bones version of the program, because that's what he uses. But no disrespect to him, he doesn't like change, and that version is probably 20 years old.
Yes. Yeah, he's very much like he knows exactly where to go. Like, when he shows you something, it's actually kind of brilliant, because he has a mind for just kind of knowing exactly where to click and what to open, and you see him do like a million things in 1 minute. But only he understands how to do that. And then it's hard to convey that to somebody else naturally, because there's too many steps. There's too many methods. So when he was trying to help me, it just literally was not translating. And that's when I, did everything.
Yeah, because that version of that program has been updated a couple dozen times since he downloaded it and figured all that stuff out on his own. And with those updates, they've eliminated that process. They've simplified it for stupid people like you and me.
Yeah, it's very much like a explain like I'm 5 kind of thing when it comes to that sort of stuff. And if you're not explaining it that way, then I'm out. But yeah, man, overall, hey, do you want to announce like what we're going to do?
Yeah, we're going to play Portal 2 co-op. And
That's right.
I'm not entirely sure when we're going to start. Maybe this week. I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of like up in the air depending on our schedules and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is to stream this on Twitch and to do some sort of a Let's Play series on YouTube as well.
Yes. And I think this kind of came about because we have talked about the game several times over the course of the show. Mm-hmm. And I always reference that Hutch and Cnanners playthrough on YouTube because it was something that I watched religiously back in 2011, 2012. And it was just a pleasure to watch. And I was like, man, this looks like a phenomenal co-op game.